All right, you guys, we're here with Mark Lobliner, the man who started off as a powerlifter, now as a bodybuilder, now with Tiger Fitness as chief marketer. Now, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, brother. Just got done training legs, and it's been a busy day ever since when I leave town, I tend to get a lot of emails in, and catching up on them is quite a task. So I was at 740. I'm down at 740-something emails. I'm down to about 220. So I'm doing pretty well. I've lost a lot of weight today.
Oh, man. What are you weighing at, like, nowadays? At what body fat?
Between 235 and 245, somewhere in there. It depends how large of a dump I take that morning. And I'm also my body fat's around. I got it pinched at like 6-ish. So anywhere when you're under 8, it's kind of ambiguous to guess body fat. But as long as I can see abs and there's some veins here and there and I can move, I'm okay.
What really motivated you to go into powerlifting?
Well, I played football, and when I injured my knee, and I came back to play, injured it again. And one thing I noticed when I was in high school is I actually looked forward to the season ending, even though I did enjoy football, because I get to train. And I really enjoyed the process of training. I didn't just, a lot of people get into bodybuilding to look good. And, I remember he actually worked at Muscle Tech for a while. Vince Scalici was the editor-in-chief of Muscle and Fitness magazine. First day on the job there, he goes, you know why people read this magazine? To get pussy. It made sense. It made sense. Who doesn't want, well, some people don't want pussy. I personally love pussy. My whole thing is, I didn't start to get pussy. Pussy was obviously there, but I just to be lewd about it. But honestly, I started because I really loved it, and it made me better in everything I do. It taught me how to, set goals, short and long-term goals, and stick to them. And that's where I fell in love with the weight room. I fell in love with the work ethic involved and balancing it in your life. And then after I hurt my knee, I still had a competitive edge. And business satisfied some of that, but it didn't satisfy it all. It was like, all right, you're getting some, but you want your girlfriend to wear heels to bed, right? Kind of the same deal. So, I basically went and I tried it out, and I did pretty well at it, but it just wasn't for me. The actual training for the competition, it's kind of like me in bodybuilding right now. Training for the competition is great. You have a goal, you focus, you do it, and then you get on there and you went to that powerlifting meet, you spend all day waiting, and I just wanted it to end. So, it wasn't something for me, but bodybuilding was something I carried around with me, and working at Weider, starting at a young age of 19, I was able to, absorb some tremendous information, and a lot of people get a job and they just look at it as a way to pay your bills. I learned every day on that job, and I picked everybody's brain, went to lunch with a scientist every day, and at the end of my tenure there, it was, it beat the hell out of any master's or PhD, because those guys not only had PhDs, but they were in the trenches. I mean, Dr. Jim Stepani, find someone who looks better than that guy, and that was a guy I spent damn near every day with for 2 years. So I can't really, that's what got me involved and also I really wanted to help people. At the end of the day, magazines reach a shitload of people, and you have huge reach, and you can teach people, hey, you don't have to live this life. Your quality of life can be higher. You can be a better father, you can be a better mother, you can be a better business person if you get your shit together and get in shape. And so Weider for me was an amazing time, and working with the man, Joe Weider himself. I mean, that was my wet dream since I was a young child. So to actually, do that was amazing. So that's kind of what got me in. But the health thing, my mother being a drug addict, my father being a type 2 diabetic who passed away from it, yeah, it was something that my brother and I both, we went the opposite way.
Yeah, and like the whole thing about like the scientists, that made me like want to bring this up. Like now in like the YouTube world, like just in the lifting world in general, there's just so many people that they're so young, but they haven't even gotten out of college yet. They think that they know everything, right? They'll bash bro scientists, right? And
trying to get me in trouble, bro.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm just saying.
This was over. No, yeah. Are you done with your question?
No, like I just want to know your opinions of these people that think that they know everything with less than like 3 years of training under their belt. Like I don't understand how certain people can think that they know everything but they haven't been through the test, you know?
You know, life is I actually had this conversation with, I'm not going to mention the name, but, a scientist who happens to be a bodybuilder, a guy who has a PhD, who has more accreditations than anybody that you imagine. You can narrow it down to 5 just by those credentials. So, you have a 20% chance of picking who I'm talking about. And his quote was like, this is a guy who lives by the textbook. If they would get their nose out of the textbook, get their ass in the gym, they might find the way. They would just listen to us. There's a reason why we do what we do. It's not, now, a lot of it is, is it optimal? You know what? Bodybuilders get results. I spent a weekend with Rich Gaspari, and he's old school. We go out to eat. What's he getting? Steak and baked potato. I didn't see Rich with a Pop-Tart in his bag. Yeah. It's what we've done for years. And you know what? Is it the great way? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe their way's better. I don't know. But, here's the thing. If Jay Cutler wins the Mr. Olympia, eating if it fits your macros or intermittent fasting, I'll start looking at it. And I know you're going to say, drugs this, drugs that. Okay, I'll go on another note. The best natural bodybuilders in the world, Kurt Widener, Doug Miller, Ron Palmer, they eat like bros. There is, not saying you can't. I mean, Alberto Nunez is amazing. I remember I sponsored him back in 2005 till like 2009 with my old company. He's amazing. He is something that everyone should aspire to look like, and it works for him. But he's also a freak. I mean, and there's something to be said about calorie counting too. I have 14-year-olds. For some reason, that's the age that emails me every day. I'm eating this many macros, and they're microanalyzing. I have 14.2 grams of fat. And, dude, if you eat like a bro, it's really hard to get fat on chicken and oats. And that's what I've always said. My brother has a thing. He calls it the ELS diet, the eat less shit diet. It works every time. And we all know what shit food is. I know no one likes the word clean as a dirty word now. You can't say the word clean food. But, again, usually if you look at someone who eats like a bro, I mean, not all the time, you're going to more than not see a decent above average physique.
I agree.
And I'm not discounting any of the studies on meal frequency. I've seen people like, TMW, they look fucking great doing intermittent fasting. My opinion is do whatever works for you, but don't insult me because I want to do what I do. And my clients, I've had clients, many of them, I can't even count how many, buck type 2 diabetes, completely get off medication from being insulin dependent. I've had a lot of success with my methods. So while science backs maybe 80% of what I do, 20%, yep, it's bro shit. It is. And I like it. And I'm not saying their way isn't right. I'm just saying my way isn't wrong.
But would you agree with the saying that everything at one point is bro science until the research backs it up?
I go on with the Arnold theory, and everybody goes, Arnold, they were on drugs. Okay, they're on drugs now. And the natural guys, they're natural, okay? Here's the deal, is that Arnold's training was not validated by shit.
Yeah.
He went in the gym, and he did a bunch of different styles. If you read his book, he tried different things. What worked for him was super high volume. And 3 sets versus 1 set has been validated in science.
Yep.
Dorian, how many times did he win the Olympia? 6-time Mr. Olympia? He did the opposite. He did one set, all out to failure.
Yep.
Metzer, he had people doing 1 set per workout. So many ways to skin a cat that my opinion is, as long as you overload your muscle, you provide stimulus and progressive overload, you're going to get some good results.
I agree.
So I'm not one of those gurus. I'm not a guru. I'm a jackass. Says, okay, this is the way. I know everything. Here's 452 studies. I like studies. I read studies. At the end of the day, I like results. Something gets me results. Actually, Eric Helms said this in a reply to an interview we did with him at machinemuscle.com. While he is, a science guy, he'll take bro shit any day of the week. And this is a guy who the bros quote all the time because he is, if it fits your macros, he's doing powerlifting splits for bodybuilders. He's a genius. I respect the hell out of the guy. And even he's like, you know what? A lot of this stuff we found in the trenches. And, I like science. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I've seen so much happen and so many different things work on myself and on others that I don't discount anything.
Yeah, well,
weight training. I remember when Joe Weider wrote his. I wasn't alive, but he wrote the 50 predictions of bodybuilding or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was smoking causes cancer, which at the time they didn't know. and another thing was weight training will soon be the gateway to every sport there is.
Yep.
At that time, people said Joe Weider is fucking crazy. That motherfucker is batshit crazy. And guess what?
He was right about everything.
Weightlifting is involved in every damn sport you see on the Olympics today.
Mm-hmm.
Weightlifting, you see, shit, they're just 30 years ago, they thought we were crazy. They thought we were, you can't play baseball and lift weights. Nah, golf, Tiger Woods is benching 315 for reps. I mean, look, the bottom line is that, to speak in absolutes, we go with the best we can by extrapolating what data we have.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is also, you look at Alan Argonne, who I respect the hell out of,
yep.
and he will throw studies and say this is the best way, this is the best way, but you'll never see him trash another way. Mm-hmm. You'll see him discount it, but you never see him go and call the person's mother a whore.
Yep.
Unless the person's mother is scientifically proven to be a whore. But Alan Argonne is mature. I gotta admit, I did some stupid stuff. I'm only 31 years old. I can remember being stupid just 2 years. I'm stupid now. I make mistakes. And when you're young, you tend to have less real-world experience in interpersonal interactions with people, mm-hmm. in dealing with people, and in not being right all the time. And that's where you kind of get this clash, because everybody wants to be different. And now being different it's kind of like getting a tattoo. It used to be make you unique. Till everybody has a tattoo, then
you're
it's
not unique anymore.
There's going to be, it was really cool like 2 years ago to come out and say, you guys are idiots, you eat bro food. And now, God forbid, I train on a body part split, they call it a bro split.
Yep.
Well, when did a bro split? The fuck is that? Bottom line is that, there is no definitive statement. I mean, what works for one might not work for another. We're all individuals. Mm-hmm. And, I've been trashed for having that view, and what I don't understand is how I'm trashed, because I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm just saying my way doesn't suck.
I know that's how I feel. Whenever I tell people who ask me for advice, I'm like, you should try this way. If it doesn't work, try another way. And then when people give me dumb ideas, I'm like, that's not that smart. Like, some people ask me, it's like, can I do chest, arms, on and off. I was like, what about your legs? Like,
just wear pants. I mean, that's why God made pants. Did God make pants? Depends on your religious affiliation. But the thing is that I'm not going to hate on anybody's style, mm-hmm. because I've seen it all work. Before I saw the twins' transformation, now I can't say shit about intermittent fasting.
Yep.
Those motherfuckers are lean.
Yep.
You see Louis Marco, what he does. I mean, he's funny as shit, for one thing. JR, diets like a bro. Mm-hmm. Look at his transformation. You look at different things. Alberto eats Pop-Tarts covered in chocolate. I've seen some pictures of his shit. It kind of looks disgusting to me. But, you put that on a fucking Pop-Tart? But no, look, the bottom line is you can't argue with results. I'm not going to say Alberto's wrong because he looks fucking great. And so does Kurt Widener, who, if God forbid he gets a grain of rice over his 40 grams, he's going to go kill somebody. Again, there's so many ways to do this thing. It's just a way of what's optimal for you and what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.